The Sons of Woodmyst. The Woodmyst Chronicles Book 2. Dedication. For Lee, my sister. Prologue. Silently and stealthily, they moved over the snow-covered ground with determination. Their intent was malicious. Their prey was close by. The night air was bitter, and the darkness was impenetrable. Everything worked in their favor. Careful to keep the sound of their footfalls as quiet as they could, the band of 30 men moved towards the small cluster of crude houses. It was a small village still in the process of settlement. Pausing, crouching upon the crest of a small ridge, they scanned the hamlet warily. A large campfire sat smoking, slowly dying in the center of the clustered houses. The surrounding structures, with their snow-covered thatched roofs and walls consisting of stone, wood and canvas, appeared welcoming. Friendly. A few small pens had been fashioned from tree limbs in order to house small livestock. There were no horses from what the men could see, no carts and no well-established constructions of any kind. It was apparent the small community had probably set up camp and erected their crude buildings before the snow fell. The only recent handmade object, placed after the deluge of white powder, was an enormous pile of firewood at the far end of the village. Apart from the livestock in the pens, there was no movement in the settlement. The acrimonious frostiness assured them that most of the village men would be inside the warmth of their beds. The defenses were non-existent and their flanks unprotected. It was easy prey. The men drew nearer and nearer, looking this way and that for a sentry. There was none. One of them saw something move and signaled to another at something ahead, near the edge of the village. The other placed an arrow onto his bowstring and aimed carefully. The dog didn't feel a thing. But the hound was seen as it fell silently upon its side. An old man had been sitting behind his house praying to the gods when he saw the arrow pierce his dog. He instinctively crawled behind the pile of firewood to hide from the invaders. There he cowered and froze in fear. The intruders entered the village like ghosts, unheard and unseen. Each took position outside the door of a small hut. Waiting for the signal, they stood with daggers ready to push the doors open. A nod was given. The doors smashed open simultaneously, splintering and breaking onto the floors covered with skins of beasts. Bewildered men raised their heads from where they slept as women and children screamed. Before the men of the village could rouse themselves to challenge the intruders, daggers were plunged into chests and necks. They bound and gagged the women.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?